Hello my dear 1000 PS TV viewers. The BMW R 1300 GS is experiencing its second spring, but not because it's already such an old lady falling in love again. No, it's because it's starting its second season here at 1000 PS after a year full of experiences. Now it's kicking off season 2. Stay tuned, I'll tell you more about it. There's this saying about enjoying a second spring, and with an R 1300 GS that only came out brand new last year, it might seem a bit off, but also not completely wrong, because the GS had so many issues last year, especially early on, that you could think, well, it must be an old bike if the engine's getting swapped out, relays are failing. I don't want to harp on about it, but we got a lot of flack in the comments for not mentioning it every time. So here I am mentioning it again. It wasn't perfect at the start, but BMW kept steadily improving things. And since it's a bike we actually bought, we were treated like any regular customer. It's not a test bike in the usual sense, but a 1000 PS test bike that we're lucky enough to use and reuse for all sorts of testing. And last year it had to endure quite a lot already, got a proper off-road beating too, where that infamous gear lever issue happened. That's also aluminum on the GS, on our GS. I think with that I've more or less covered last year's issues in brief. So right now it's the start of the season here in Spain. I've already ridden the twisty roads and seen what she's got to do and handle. Just the trophy edition alone, I still think it looks absolutely sick. You can get tired of some designs, but not this one. I really love that blue, white, red combo. And then I'll get into what we've done to our GS for 2025, what we changed, added, mounted already. A few Wunderlich parts, and yeah, the comfort seat for both rider and passenger, with those color accents on the side that match the trophy paint job beautifully. And I've gone a bit over the top with the Schubert S3 helmet, but the Schubert S3, I think it really suits the look. So if you're one of those folks who likes everything to match perfectly, this could be your thing. I don't need it to match that much, but I have to say, the seat matching the color scheme doesn't bother me at all. How long those white parts stay white, that's up to you to decide if you're into it. The comfort seat itself, when you first sit down, you might think, oh wow, that's actually pretty hard. But the seat core is designed so that it doesn't give way. It stays like that. It doesn't sag after 200 kilometers. I haven't ridden that far on it yet, but I think I could already say whether it's comfortable or not. And yeah, the seat feels the same as it did at the beginning, actually gets better. If it feels hard at first, it becomes comfy as the kilometers add up. Wunderlich did a good job making a seat that's truly comfortable, comfort seat, even if it feels stiff at first. Wunderlich charges 439 euros for it. Then we've got the crash bars, which now have an extra plate welded on to properly protect the cylinder. Like if a stone somehow gets between the guard and the valve cover and could damage it, now it's well protected. Wunderlich wants 599 euros for that. And then at the back, we've got a drive shaft protector on the other side, a small part, 119,90 euro. I think that could actually help quite a bit. If there's a mishap and you fall on the shaft or the bike slides on it, that could do a lot of damage. But in this case, this protector at around 120 euros is probably not too pricey, because if your drive shaft cracks and starts leaking oil, you've got bigger problems than 120 euros. We've also added a splash guard, obviously not just to protect the rider and passenger, although on a GS you're probably already good there, but more for long-term protection, keeping the shock and everything in there safe. Also 119.90 euro. I don't know if I'd get it myself, but hey, if you've got the extra cash, go for it. What definitely does help, obviously, are the protectors. The original guards are now reinforced with metal. That always adds value. They cost 180 euros, 179.90 euro, if I'm not mistaken. And honestly, I think they look great too. The indicator stays, it's still protected. And the hand guards with built-in indicators, those cost way more than 180 euros. So if they get wrecked, that sucks. And it looks super cool, like an American football. I noticed it when I first saw them at Wunderlich. I liked them immediately. So for me, it's both protection and aesthetics. On our model, and just to be clear, it's a pre-series model, the guards touch the paint when the handlebars are turned all the way. We reported that to Wunderlich and they said, yeah, it's a pre-series issue. They've already fixed it. They admitted they noticed it too. And of course we were like, didn't you guys test this? But yes, they did. They still wanted us to have this particular model and it's not perfectly dialed in yet. So if you buy this part for your GS, this won't happen. Okay, that was a lot about accessories, but I'm guessing you already know the GS itself from plenty of our other videos. Here in Spain on twisty roads again, I was once more blown away by that whole I sit down, I feel at home feeling. The handlebar is right where it should be. I set off, turned on the adaptive cruise control down on the coast, followed behind a car. When the car slowed down, the radar-based cruise control did the same. A super neat, fun feature, and honestly, on long rides, especially on the highway, it totally makes sense. Ours also has the electric windshield, which people have strong opinions about. Do I really need an electric windshield? Well, you've got the choice. I would have picked it if I were speccing one. I even told Nils, we need that. It's so cool, so unique. And I adjust it way more often than I would with a manual one, even if the manual just needs a quick lever pull or on the BMW, a twist of a knob. But with the electric adjuster, I love it. Everyone's got to decide for themselves, of course, but I definitely get it, if only for the fun of playing around with it. I probably already spent a whole minute just messing with it. So yeah, we added that. Then I hit the tight curves, those hairpins where the GS's low center of gravity is still absolutely top tier. You can lean it in so nicely, really press it into the corner, and then everything comes together, the brakes too. There's a lot of divided opinions about the linked braking system. If you hit the rear brake, the front brake kicks in too. For less experienced riders, that's a real benefit. It makes the rear brake feel more effective, of course, because the front's also doing work. For riders who like to trail the rear brake into a corner, it's something to get used to and maybe not ideal. Some folks don't like that. But for me, it's not a big issue because I don't use the rear brake all that often anyway. And yeah, I'm also pleasantly surprised when I do use it and it really hits hard. The brakes themselves, as I got into more dynamic terrain, I noticed that the character shifted. At first, you might think they're kind of mellow, but they quickly become sporty, easy to modulate, and seriously powerful. We've got the sport brakes. Though sport, well, I wouldn't call this GS a full-on sport bike. I'm not saying that, but you can ride it more sportily than many would expect. You can give it the beans, and I did just that. On those twisty bits, the suspension was also plush enough to smooth out the bad roads, but firm enough to avoid any wobble or wallow. Of course, with the crash bars and all the added parts, the weight went up. We weighed it on our livestock scale at 256.5 kilos. That's more now, but as I said, because of the low center of gravity, it still works great. I also hit some damp patches, roads were a bit wet, And besides BMW's good electronics, I was also running new Pirelli tires, Pirelli Scorpion Trail 3, the follow-up to the 2. And yeah, Pirelli for me, and probably for many of you out there too, let me know in the comments, they always lean more toward the sporty side. It's a trail tire made for this adventure touring class, 19-inch front, 17-inch rear, 150 rear width, but with a sporty edge. Maybe the mileage isn't ideal, but in exchange it corners incredibly well. Many design elements in this Scorpion Trail 3 are borrowed from the Diablo line. And on dry roads here it worked beautifully, grips like mad, really nice handling. Did I cover the engine yet? Okay, so this is our third one, but it's working well. I got along perfectly with the power plant here. 1300 cubic centimeters. That typical GS-like low-end chugging with 149 Newton meters of torque at 6,500 RPM, okay, but you feel it from 2,000 revs. Smooth tuning. You ride a GS, especially the new 1300, more from the bottom end. It's a torquey, big displacement engine that really kicks hard in dynamic mode. First gear, powering out of a hairpin, front wheel gets light, just super fun to ride. 145 horsepower at 7,500 revs. Sure, there are stronger adventure bikes now, a few with more power, but whether you need that, well, that's another question. Let's just set the horsepower numbers aside for the GS. It's a torque monster, and yeah, you can rev it out. On the 1300, it's even more fun and makes more sense than it did on the 1250. You still get more power up high. It doesn't just flatline at 7,000. You can really wind it out. Super sporty to ride, which for many maybe isn't what they're looking for in this kind of bike. It's a touring machine. It should be comfy. And it is, especially with the electric windshield. But let's not get into that again. But if you want it to be sporty too, if things need to get spicy, it can handle that just fine. Even in its second season, its second spring, which I'm lucky to be spending here in Spain, there's still a lot coming, lots happening with the GS. As I said, the tire has already proven itself to me during this week in Spain. It's been fun. Didn't need the Wunderlich parts, but from a style perspective, the guards and seat were spot on. Great choices by whoever installed them in the editorial team. So yeah, there's more to come. It still has to endure plenty. It got abused a bit. And last year it surprised us a few times early on, but now it's running smooth, starting its second season. I hope I've given you a nice intro into the life of the 1300 GS here at 1000 PS, the daily bike, the do-it-all machine, because it's always there and it does a good job, and it'll keep doing a good job this year too. So thanks so much for watching and listening. Drop a comment if I forgot something, if there's something I should have mentioned, could have said. Let me know if you're happy with all the rambling. And please subscribe to our 1000 PS YouTube channel. That way you'll get all the new videos as soon as they're up. And as always, a big friendly bye-bye.